Hello and welcome to our talk today, which is blockchain and its practical applications in business. I'm Dan Hyde. I'm a partner at Harris & Clark Rickaby's, a leading technology law firm specializing in all manner of tech regulation. With me today is Sam Thomas. Sam is a barrister. He sits on the IT panel of the Bar Council, the body that governs barristers. He's also written a number of leading books on crypto, cybersecurity, and also blockchain. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you for introducing the book, which you wrote with me.
A labour of love.
Absolutely. Blockchain and Cryptocurrency, International Legal and Regulatory Challenges. And what we're going to talk about today is some of the practical uses of blockchain.
When we're looking at blockchain, I think most people associate it automatically with Bitcoin, and they think, therefore, it's an enabler of cryptocurrency. But you and I would agree that its uses are far wider. Let's perhaps give some real-life examples. Can you see where it might be practically applied if you're a business out there listening to this?
Well, what you've got to consider is that blockchain is a tool. It's not dissimilar to the idea of a fingerprint. Okay, a fingerprint is just something that can be used. For years and years, it was used in a criminal context for trying to find out who done it. But now, we use a fingerprint to access our mobile phone or to access our laptops. Blockchain is a tool like that. And it's only been around for a very short period of time, maybe 10, 15 years. So the idea is that we know exactly how blockchain is going to be used would be false. But of course, we can provide some very good specific examples, for example, in finance.
Take me through how it would work in finance. What advantage would it have over what else you might be able to use?
Well, blockchain at the moment is famously used for Bitcoin. And people may think that Bitcoin is something used by criminals because it's anonymous. Well, that doesn't have to be the case. Each person that uses a Bitcoin has a number associated to them, a Bitcoin wallet.
Yep.
Okay? There's no reason why that number couldn't be attributed to an identifiable person. The government could say in their state-based cryptocurrency, instead of the pound, they could have a state-based cryptocurrency, which says each person's wallet has to be associated to their name, address, their date of birth. And if you did that, then all of a sudden you could track all of the money in society wherever it may go. And think about the context of that. If you knew exactly where all money was going in the whole of society, well, then how could you steal? How could you commit fraud? Because you'd simply know exactly where the money was going.
Another use that brings to my mind would be actually in law enforcement. In an average prosecution, when I'm talking about an average prosecution, I'm just talking about something like a domestic burglary, relatively straightforward crime. In a simple case like that, you have 70 rubbing points. The point reached where one agency has to cooperate with another agency. So let's say the police wants to talk to the Crown Prosecution Service or to a witness. That will happen 70 times. And in addition to those 70 rubbing points, you'll have 7 occasions when you'll need a complete or comprehensive transfer of information. So the CPS, for example, want all the information from the police, or the expert needs to see all the paperwork in order to write a report. So 70 rubbing points and 70 complete transfers. What happens at the moment is lots of trials actually are ruined, are flawed, because something goes wrong with one of the rubbing points. The cooperation isn't there on one of the 70 times, or maybe not all information is transferred on one of the 7 times. You can overcome that completely with blockchain, because with a blockchain, or let's say a permission blockchain, each person can have access to information. So let's say you're the prosecutor, you're given an access protocol that lets you get one level of information, police another, witness another, all the way down the chain, if you like, of people, such that everyone has good access to information, and all the transfers, all the points of the rubbing points of cooperation are gone. So that's within, if you like, the criminal justice context, but you could see how you could roll that out and use it in so many other business ways as well.
Well, just not in a criminal context, but in a civil context or in a contract law context. You could have a smart contract based upon the blockchain where everyone can see what's happening to the contract, when things were delivered, how they've been delivered, the time, and it could automatically update. Think about that in, for example, construction law.
I was about to say, because the construction industry, that's well known for having lots of contracts and lots of complex contracts, and they're all bouncing around with everybody trying to get their hands on them. So in construction industry, blockchain might be an ideal solution to that problem.
A type of contract that's really quite interesting at the moment, and a lot of people are asking about, is NFTs.
Oh, yeah.
And you're a bit of an expert on NFTs. So I think it would be useful to see, well, first of all, what is an NFT and how could blockchain be used in selling those tokens?
So an NFT, so the NFT stands for non-fungible token. All that means is something that's non-fungible means that it's unique. So if something fungible, there's a sameness about it. An NFT has a uniqueness in the same way you were talking earlier about, say, fingerprints. Fingerprints being used to solve crimes, or fingerprints being used to access your iPhone or other phone. So NFTs, rather like a fingerprint, have this unique quality about them. And the reason that they've taken off in the way they have is because that uniqueness is so valuable. So an example would be as, if you like, a form of digital receipt. It's the perfect receipt because you've got something that says to the world, I bought this. You can have all the information, when you bought it, who you are, the rights that were conferred upon you. It's not a piece of paper that can be lost. It's not something that can be easily tampered with or changed. It's there. And it's that, if you like, certainty of information that gives it such intrinsic value. The other advantage of an NFT is that, again, because it's unique, it can also be used to store, let's say, art. In the art world at the moment, you have NFTs being used as digital art themselves. Think of an NFT as basically a token or something capable of holding information. You can have an image of the Mona Lisa on there. Now, it might be that you haven't actually bought the Mona Lisa because it's in an art gallery and they're not willing to part company, but they might be willing, for example, to let you have an NFT. That NFT could be yours. It could say that you have the right to that image, and it could set out all the rights that you have. And that's happening already, not just in art, it's happening in wine. I read the other day, it's also being used, for example, to track blood diamonds. So often blood diamonds are able to be sold around the world because they conceal the fact that they're blood diamonds. So apparently De Beers came up with a blockchain that effectively tracked the movement of diamonds from a mine. And then they partnered with, I think they were called Everledger, a startup, who developed effectively an NFT for every blood diamond, so that blood diamond was uniquely identifiable. It was followed around wherever it was, and there could never be any effective concealment of the fact that it was a blood diamond. So the uniqueness being put to a business application, in effect.
And so NFTs can be used, or blockchain can be used with NFTs to show the provenance of a particular item or a particular NFT. Would that be right?
Exactly right. Blockchain can be used in so many other ways as well, because it's so adaptable. Effectively, it can be aligned to many industries because you can have a digital representation like an NFT on the blockchain. You can also have an FT, which is a fungible token, which isn't unique, but again could be used for all sorts of purposes. So, for example, a fungible token, you're getting more now into the fact that they can be exchanged in the same way as maybe cryptocurrency, but there are other uses of fungible tokens within a business.
What would be an example of a fungible token?
Let's say you're a landlord, for example, and you had tenants. So you might even have a token whereby you literally gave them credit or gave them rewards for how they performed as a tenant. So you could issue a token to them. It's on the blockchain. So again, you've got all the advantages of the fact that it can't be tampered with, and the information. You can have a permission blockchain where, say, for example, the tenants, all those interested parties, could access that information. But the use of these sort of, the blockchain and both fungible and non-fungible tokens is pretty limitless, because all you need to really have in mind is, okay, what are the, if you like, the functions of blockchain, or the characteristics that might add value to my business.
So that sounds like there are absolutely no problems. We should all be using blockchains. We should all be using NFTs.
Yes, except first of all, it won't align with all businesses. So you might try and add it to your business and find that in actual fact it's time and expense that isn't really taking the project further. The other thing as well, I think we mentioned in one of our other talks, one of the, if you like, a drawback of blockchain is that it's very hard to delete something. So again, in the data context where you're holding information about somebody and they say, I've had the right to be forgotten, I want you to delete all that information, that's problematic.
So you're saying that blockchain and GDPR could be inconsistent with each other, or there could be a tension or conflict between the two?
Yeah, they could. Well, there is a tension, because you'd have to find some way to satisfy the person whose data it was when they said to you, you no longer have my consent, or you no longer have any good reason to hold all that data about me.
Well, that should be another chat.
That should be. So to sum up then, Sam and I have just talked about some of the practical uses of blockchain. We looked at the construction industry, we looked at the legal industry, we talked about art and NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and effectively explained that there are so many business uses of blockchain where it's a suitable tool. In terms of takeaways, Sam, for anybody out there who's thinking of using blockchain in their business, what might that be?
Well, blockchain can be used in many different ways, principally these days in finance. But you cannot underestimate the use that it can be used, for example, as we've discussed in construction contracts.
But beware of problems with holding data. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed listening to Sam and I talk about the benefits to business of blockchain. Please tune in again for the next topic in our data protection and blockchain series.